this is how I came to connect with these scrapbooks. This is how I found them. So we were at Mama's house, and I'm with my aunts, some other family there, and we're going through some of her things. She had these tubs of pictures and photos and magazines and race programs, and we're just like, it was just a bunch of stuff, and we're kind of digging through it. And my aunt, Kay, said, "Oh, look at these, here's these 2 scrapbooks," and handed them to me. And I opened them up, and I'm, flipped through a couple pages. It's just news clippings at first, but I started to understand right away that it was 1979 and in chronological order. And I'm like, this is amazing. This is like a Bible of Dad's rookie year. It was like through her eyes, right? It was in her interpretation, right? And so it was really cool because I'm thinking, okay, you put this together in the moment while it's happening. I'm holding this thing that you made throughout that year as he's running the season. She's adding to this photo album. I couldn't believe I had it in my hands. I was like, this is the kind of stuff that I just love to have, right? And keep and cherish. And so immediately it was just like, I'm going to take this and put it away and keep it. This album that my aunt had put together started to look like a project to me. And I thought, man, can I convince Mike Davis to let me create something around this? And I started reading the articles, and I started finding all these little funny stories that some not even related to Dad. And I thought, all right, I want to read this. I want to learn all I can about this, but it also it's also forcing me to seek out more information outside of this photo album, right? Or outside of this sort of Bible that my aunt made. And I had all the access to this content at my fingertips. I have a library full of magazines and news clippings and books on this season. So I'm thinking, man, if I pile all this together, I wonder if I could really make an interesting story out of it, and also create content that people might want to hear, but also learn myself more about this season. I've never really taken the time to do a deep dive to learn more about my dad. And this would allow me to do that, but also create something at the same time. So it's been awesome. I have been working on this a lot over the last several months. I've enjoyed every single minute. I'm learning so much about the sport, my dad, the characters, the drivers, how the industry operated. And it's fascinating to me. So it's really got me excited about, just when you think you know it all, just when you think you've heard it all, just when you think you've got it all understood, there's so many layers to everything that happens in our sport, and so many layers in the history of our sport. And it's just been really interesting to me to be able to peel it apart and learn more. So when I'm looking through this scrapbook, there is a lot of great stories and articles about Dad, and some weeks there's 1 or 2 articles, but like when he wins at Bristol, there's pages and pages of different articles about that day and that win. And then there'll be an article a week later, discussing what Dad was doing during the middle of the week, like putting a roof on his mom's house, or it's just fun to kind of almost get an idea of how Dad spent the week, or his days between races. Some of the most interesting stuff is like this article right here, where Dad actually writes the article himself throughout the year. So apparently in 79, he agrees to do a bi-monthly article on his rookie year. So, right away I'm thinking for the first half of the year, we're going to get to hear it straight from his mouth, like what he thinks about his season. And there's a lot of, it's his own words, talking about the races, talking about, the success, the failures. And I guess they only were planning to do it up until the World 600 in May. But it was so well received, they continued it. And he even talks about that. He's like kind of, it's almost like you can't tell if he's happy to have to keep doing it or not. He got the way he talks about it, he's like, well, I guess we're going to keep doing this. And there's no, he doesn't say we're going to do it to the end of the year. It's like, we're just going to keep doing it until we don't want to do it no more. And, but he talks, it's fun because you can tell it's from his own, it's thoughts from his own mind. It's not like a recap of the season. He's talking about some of the things that he was doing during the week. Listen, if I had to be a carpenter, I'd starve to death up and down those dang ladders. Talking about putting a roof on his mom's house, or fixing the roof on his house. And it's just great. I mean, I can't say that I knew that these articles that he wrote existed, but I would have never found them if I didn't. I mean, this scrapbook led me right to them. There's some photos of his car. There's photos of them in Victory Lane at Bristol. There's photos that my Uncle Danny, his brother, took of the interior of the car going through post-race inspection. I mean, it really does a great job of bringing you into the moments. And so the great thing about it is, if this goes really well, I have another scrapbook for 1980 that we can create an entire series out of if we want. And that year's is compelling, if not more. It's cool. Actually, I have to say that this is a brand new book. Like, the scrapbook that she gave me was literally falling apart, and so I felt like this sort of urgency to like put it into a new vessel so that it could survive, because the pages and the news articles, I mean, that's 50 years old, or almost 50 years old, and so they're good to go. Hey, if you like that video, like and comment below, and don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss another piece of Dirty Mo Media content.